Alright, now let's take a look at what happens to exponents, how we deal with them when division is the operation we're working with. A lot of times fractions really bug people. Remember, you're just dividing. Now what I'm going to go back to is what we call the expanded form. We need to write this in a way that shows us what it means. And once you see what it means, then you can develop your shortcuts. Now x to the fifth we said was x multiplied by itself 5 times. Okay, so that's the same thing right there. It's just written in expanded form. Now x squared, on the other hand, is x times itself 2 times. Now let's remind ourselves of something here. If we have one number over itself, so for example, if we have 3 over 3, well, 3 divided by 3 is not 0, it's actually 1. Okay, now we're going to use that same concept here. We don't know what x is, but we know that whatever number it is, I have it on top and I have it on bottom. So x divided by x gives me 1. Now I'm going to say they cancel out, but they don't really cancel out. They just make a 1. And a 1 multiplied by anything doesn't change what it is. So I can kind of ignore them. Now I see this x right here will also cancel out with that one. And what I'm left with is 3 x's on top. Now it's not 3 x's added, it's x times itself 3 times. So this could be written as x to the third power. And what's on the bottom? Well, not 0. Remember, there's still a 1 there. We just don't write it. So you could write this as just x cubed. There we go. And that's the result. Now, if you understand that principle, you can do anything no matter how complicated it looks. Let's take a look at this one right here. That just doesn't look so great. Well, let's do this. Let's write out a big fraction and see what we've got. I'm going to start with the bottom down here because this right down here is not really complicated. Let's just write what's there. I have 10, and then I have x multiplied by itself 7 times. X times x times x times x times x times x times x. And I know a lot of people are going to say, I don't want to write it all out that much, especially the bigger this gets. Now, I'm fine with that, but you need to know what you're trying to do. If you're not sure what shortcut to use, don't guess, write it out, and you will start to see where it's headed. And then you can choose the shortcut you want to take. Now let's look what happens on top. All of that stuff gets multiplied by itself twice. So I'm going to write 2x to the third, which is x times x times x, times 2x to the third. Okay. Now I've got it expanded out. Let's see what happens. Let's see where this takes us. I've got x and x. Those cancel out. Every x divided by x gives me a 1. That goes away. That goes away. That goes away. That goes away. So it looks like I'm left with one single x on the bottom. So I know that's the only x left over. I'll put it down here on the bottom because that's where it's at right now. And the only thing that remains now is 2 times 2, which is 4, and 10 on the bottom. Now that may be as far as I can go, but I can see on this one 4 and 10. 4 divided by 10 doesn't make a nice whole number, but it does simplify. If I cut both of those numbers in half, I get 2 on top and 5 on the bottom with an x. All of this eventually simplifies to that.